Welcome to the Vector Garden. In this tutorial, we are going to cover a design that has gotten some more popularity recently. So the system of this is that you have these overlapping shapes and lines, and where they overlap, you get this kind of negative cutout. So they get basically inverted. We have some inversion here as well, which of course compromises the legibility slightly. So maybe you want to avoid that. But this is about how we can build this. Of course, we could cut the lines at these points. That would be destructive, and also cutting would not help us with that kind of slanted border that we have here. So what we could do is creating clipping masks and then work with duplicated paths, which would be kind of hard if we would need to edit that. So I'm going to cover that in another movie. The next option that we have is outlining these strokes and outlining the text and then creating a compound path, of course. That is destructive because you cannot edit the text anymore and you cannot edit the lines anymore. Slightly less destructive would be the option to create a compound shape, because then we could have live text in that. And the nice thing is, in order to make a compound shape, we also do not need to outline the strokes. So we're going to take a look at that as the first option. But the trouble with compound shapes is that you have to go into isolation mode in order to edit them, and that might be a little clumsy and you might not like that. So we are also going to take a look at another option that you have, and that includes layer styles. Let's start with this. And first of all, I'm going to take a look at the compound shape method. This is live text, still editable, and this one here as well. And we have those lines here that have strokes, like that. When I now select all of this and just make the compound shape by holding down the Alt key and clicking on this button here, exclude, then you see this did not work pretty well. So let's undo that, because we need to outline the strokes. We do not want to outline them, so we need to use the outline effect. Let's go to the appearance panel, because now we have to really watch out. You can apply outline stroke in two places. We can apply it directly into the stroke of the object, and we can apply it to the path. And then it needs to be at the bottom of this stack. So in this case, we need to apply it to the path. Let's go here and go to Effect, Path, Outline Stroke. There it is, because it needs to be applied after we have a stroke. So that's that. And we're going to apply it to this one as well, like this, and to this one. I need to do that separately because this one has the arrowhead and this one doesn't. Now we have applied all of that. Let's select these again and make a compound shape again. And you see, still it does not work. Because, and this is where it gets really, really weird. Let's first undo it. And let's take a look at the stacking order. So here, you see, here are the lines. So these three lines, and they are on top of everything else. Now we want to have a black fill, and we do not want to have outlines. So the thing with compound shapes is they take the appearance of a certain object, and with exclude, it's the top object. So what we need to do is take these and move them down here, and then this works. So then we can apply this. Now we have all that we want, and this is all a compound shape. And we can still go in here and edit that path easily. I'm going to undo that and undo that yet again. So this freaks out a little. Let's do it again. So it's a little unstable, obviously. I can also select this one and edit it. And you see, again, it freaks out. So since it's a little unstable, I'm going to select it. And then let's go to the Pathfinder panel, because we have another option. We need to release the compound shape here. And for this other option, we need the layers panel, because we can also do this by applying a Pathfinder effect to the layer. Now, we have used Pathfinder exclude, and Pathfinder also is here in the effects. So let's do it. So we have already applied this outline to the strokes. Let's just target this layer and then go to the appearance panel and then go to Effect, Pathfinder, Exclude, and see what we get. And you see, this is already pretty nice, but the arrowheads, they didn't work very well. We need to fix those arrowheads. And in order to fix them, we first need to select those two strokes. And you see, we've got this align. And now in order to fix this, we need to have another Pathfinder effect. And this thing only works when we do it inside the stroke. So we need to first move the outline stroke in here. And then after outline stroke, we need another Pathfinder effect. So let's go to Effect, Pathfinder, and what we need is Merge. Like this. You see, it gets applied up here, so that is wrong. It doesn't work. We're going to move it after outline stroke, of course, because it needs shape. It's a Pathfinder after all. So we first need outline stroke to create shapes from strokes. Virtually, of course, not really. And then we can apply merge. And then we have what we want. And then we can edit all of that. And it works. It's stable, not like the compound shape. And we can use that. And you can move everything around and edit that. Still, it is a Pathfinder effect that we applied, so we cannot have multiple colors in that. If you want that, then really it's time for clipping masks. But I hope you found this nerdy and are now curious to experiment with that.